Hello, brothers and sisters. The title of the message today is Being Led by the Hand of the Lord. Chapter 5, Church was appeared. Entering into Campus Crusade and working there for 4 years that I had never imagined before. And moreover, I was able to meet Watchman Nee while I was working there. My life was totally transformed. It's an amazing thing for me. Suppose I just stayed in our denomination without any difficulties. I could have become a common pastor, but I came out from that place, entered into Campus Crusade. I learned a lot from there, and especially I received a great influence from Reverend Jun Gon Kim. However, suppose I just stayed in Campus Crusade, I just lived as a step member and finished my life there. But as I was laid off, I was able to see Christ, the church, and the new world that I had never dreamed of before. And I marched toward the paths of eternal kingdom, New Jerusalem, with single mind. All these things were possible not through knowledges or methods, but by other people's will. Therefore, even though I may bow down to them who led me with His grace, but I still feel lacking for my worshiping Him endlessly. I want to strongly declare that I have never thought about moving to a new place according to my own will. The denomination that I belong to, I received the first salvation there. I was wrapped up with despair and spending time as a small island, Nohwa-do, the far south of Korea, but God let me get a job at our denomination so that I was able to carry out God's work for the first time. So I had never thought about leaving that denomination. I naturally thought that this is the place where I must bury my bones. But the tornado hit my life. I did not know where it was coming from. I tried to endure for 4 years, but I was pushed aside, lacking power. I was so miserable in human viewpoint. It was a failure that I felt down in a pitiful way. But just like Elijah's story, suddenly a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them, and Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. I was also moved by an entirely new world, which I had never imagined before, by the whirlwind. By the hand of miracle, I was able to enter into Campus Crusade, and again I thought, this is the place where I should bury my bones. But again, another tornado hit me and entered into a new world, the world of Lord's body. Maybe someone set up a plan and so many people were mobilized and played their own roles, but I never imagined that before. Everything was prepared in order to let me know the hand of the Lord and His temperaments who led me on. Wherever I may go, I thought this is where I should live. I could not think that there is a better place than that. I don't mean that I had strong faith or faithfulness. I had no other place to go. I could not submit my name card and ask people to use me because I was not qualified to do that. I could not peep in other people's house. When I entered into a denomination, I could not show my name card. I could not show my name card in CCC. I was just dreaming there. I just wished that I would not wake up from my dream, but God let the tornado again blow, or by chariot of fire, He sent me to a new place. I had to move every time, but it was not tiring at all. When I was pushed aside from our denomination, it is so unfamiliar that I tried to rebel against the typhoon or rock which is trying to suppressed me, but I used all my might to resist against the rock. I used all my energy, but my power was not enough. I struggled not to leave that place. I never tried to move to a new place. As I experienced that before, when I came out from Campus Crusade, I came out without any complaining nor resisting. I came out just like a child who was pushed down from the playground slide. How thankful it is. Those people who have no strength, it is difficult to resist and jump out from there. But for me, someone was pushing me from the back, and another one was pulling me from the front. I was wondering what's happening. I fell down to the bottom from the hill and crossed the Red Sea like the dry land. Lord cut the Red Sea and walked proudly and crossed the sea. As the Lord knew me, he planned himself, gave providence so that I could take part in his rest and peace in such a way. Chapter 3, Church Appeared. Subtitle number 1, Life is Growing. In 1976, the summer retreat was finished up at Moonhwa Gymnasium so successfully. We gathered at the Daejeon area. We had to prepare a summer retreat next year. In the evening, we had fellowship at Campus Crusade Center, and next morning we took a bus and went to the summer retreat site for the field survey. It was a narrow path by the rice paddy. Someone approached to me and said, "You have to lead the morning prayer meeting." Someone else was appointed, but he could not come, so I was appointed in place of him. It was a riverside, and a lot of willow trees were growing. This is famous Shimcheon willow tree forest. Everyone was sitting on the hill. I was speaking with a coat on my shoulder. I delivered a short message. Life always grows. A miracle took place. As people listened to my message, their faces became so bright and happy. But 2 people were sitting at the back seat. Their faces became so dark, I could see. Strange thing is that those 2 people insisted, "Reverend Lee, we must drive him out from Campus Crusade." They were step members of Daejeon and Cheongju district. After I left from Cheongju, Brother Dako Jung was a leader in Cheongju. When I left Cheongju, I told them, "Let's meet at the Glory Church again." They deeply engraved those words deep in their hearts. They were searched for that kind of church in the Bible, and they read the first century church brothers. In the book of Acts, they found out that first century church brothers were breaking bread together and prayed all day. They were trying to maintain Cheongju Church in such a way. They had an exciting experience in such kind of fellowship. They told students in Daejeon and Cheongju district, this is the true bamboo shoot fellowship. Come and see. But staff members did not like it. They thought at the background there is Reverend Lee. That's why their faces turned dark when they listened to my words. Later, I heard from someone who saw that, told me, during the 40 days of fasting among Campus Crusade, staff members, they listed the purge, and they insisted Reverend Kim, that Reverend Lee must be driven out. But it was a blessing for me. If they did not drive me out, I cannot come out of Campus Crusade myself. That's why God made them prepare the road for me. One time, one staff member, Mr. Lee, advised me when he was transferred to a district branch, "You'd better move out from Campus Crusade." I answered him, "I did not join here according to my will, When I joined a campus crusade, I joined because of the hand of the Lord led me totally. So when I go out, there will be Lord's leading clearly. I cannot move according to my own will and plan. He said, "Oh, I feel stuffy." I could not meet him again, but I heard that he graduated from theological college and became a pastor. Those people who seek for their own way always move according to their own will. But those who are led by Lord's hand, they don't know where they will go next. But they are led by the will of the Lord only. Something happened after brothers listened to the message at Shimchon. Brother Wan Sun Hong listened to the words, "Life is always growing." That words were inscribed in his heart. He made a phone call to me right before the winter vacation. "Pastor, please speak in Chuncheon area also." So I drove all the way to the Chuncheon. At that time, I spoke at the Sambad Mountain Retreat Center. And those students who gathered there joined in our church, and we walked the same path with me lifetime. Brother Wan Sun Hong, Sungyu Lee, Kyung Young Pyun, Minja Lee, Hyo-young Lee, Dong Sub-yu, Nam Kyu Shim, Chu Hyung Lee, Hyung-woo Lee, Hyun-woo Kim, Eun-gu Ji, and Tae-hee Lee, and some more brothers followed. Tae-yun Jung, Hwan-soo Young, the Bo-young Lee, Ho-jun Jo, and sisters followed me, Hun-suk Shin, Hae-sun Kim, Young-ran Lee, Philson Lee. Some sisters followed us but could not join Integra Church. Eun-suk Kim, Kyung-sun An, the Su-nam Cho, and so on. I returned from the fellowship in Chuncheon area, and 40 days fasting was declared during the winter vacation. During that time, we were laid off from Campus Crusade. I did not think about Chuncheon, but one day I was in Chechen City, and brothers from Chuncheon suddenly came to visit me. They told me their story as they led their life according to the leading of the Spirit. The Chuncheon staff member tried to control them. They visited here and there, visiting brothers and sisters in Gangwon area. As they arrived at the Chechen station, they were reminded that Reverend Lee's house in Chechen City. My wife was running a ladies' dressmakers, so they took a taxi and told the taxi driver to take them to the dressmakers. Dressmakers is not in the central part of the city, not famous. But how could the taxi driver took them to the dressmakers? It was mysterious. It was not easy to find. They came on the same day that I was staying in Chechen. It was also mysterious. They thought as the Lord leads their way, everything was arranged in an accurate way. That was their experience. The relationship between me and them were very mysterious. The staff member of Chuncheon area, the Red Watchman need books and told the content of the book to students in Chuncheon Campus Crusade. When I delivered the message, he was joyous and felt a feeling of comrade. When Reverend Kim declared a 40-day fasting, he made a phone call and asked me about it. But as he could not control brothers, he felt restless and tried to control students later. But as he took part in fasting, he remained in Campus Crusade. I could not take part in fasting. I was driven out of Campus Crusade. We could not keep in touch. As a result, he played a role of mediator between students and me. That was my interpretation. I forgot about Chuncheon brothers and sisters completely. We came out of Campus Crusade. It was an interim period. I did not hear from them. I was at a loss because of my mysterious relationship. But I thought, good Lord had led them well in the past, so he will lead them in the right way in the future also. I returned to Daegu from Chechen. They told me they came out of Campus Crusade, so please speak in Chuncheon. They were having fellowship separately. They were separated from Mr. Sang-gyu Lee in Chuncheon Campus Crusade. Thus, I dropped by Chuncheon on the way to Seoul. They were having fellowship from this house to that house, and later they rent a place for fellowship. Brother Tong Sub-Yoon became the elder who was in charge of finance issues. Everybody called him Elder Yoon. His father was rich. He received the scholarship and offered money to the fellowship house. The brother Yoon fell into a certain philosophy, and life became empty. He stopped studying. But as he listened to the Word of God, his attitude was changed. He studied hard again and received scholarship. Because of God's words, his attitude was changed and studied hard. It is so thankful, but college gave him scholarship, so he offered double amount of money, and in a glorious way, he was able to appoint it as the first student elder of our church unanimously. When I went to Chuncheon, I stayed at this house, at that house. It was keep changing. Yoon Tong Sub, An Hyung Suk, Hong Won's son. One day, Brother Hong's father did not know Jesus. He scolded his son loudly. I was nervous. Later, he moved down to Daegu for good. He apologized me with a naive face. I went to Chuncheon for quite some time. One time, brother said to me in a cautious way, "We can have fellowship among ourselves. You don't have to come all the way here." I don't remember exactly, but we had fellowship until 4 a.m. And that became an opportunity for them to move down to Daegu. At that time, I told them, "You have not become mature yet. You'd better follow me." I expressed them in an indirect way. And they accepted my words, and they decided to live with me even today. Even though they might have gotten some enlightenment, but it is not the fulfillment. They moved from darkness to the light, but the light is limited. For example, a 10-watt light bulb, 100-watt light bulb, and the Lord is the light itself. As we approach to Him, we experience brighter light and brighter light. We cannot limit the brightness of the light of the Lord. Chuncheon brothers thought they knew everything. They thought they were no brighter light anymore. Well, it can be anybody's experience. But for the final society, beautiful New Jerusalem, we have to walk more beautiful and more mature path of the bride. This path we cannot walk alone, but we absolutely need our leader. If a student graduates from elementary school, there's middle school. After graduating from middle school, there's high school. After we finish from the process of Moses, there is the process of Jesus. But Jewish leaders did not know this. They cast out of the Lord of life and killed him. In the past of life, there is no graduation day. Our life is perfect at the present time always, but there is tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow is waiting for us. We continually walk the path of maturity, and finally we become bride of the Lord and wait eagerly for the day that we can receive Jesus as our bridegroom. Chuncheon brothers moved down to Daegu and united together. Daegu brothers were quiet people, but Chuncheon brothers were wild, so they received the stimulation, and two different temperaments were united together later on. Daegu people, they would say something if they are fulfilled, but Chuncheon people, they declare first and they wait for the day that will be fulfilled. Both groups could not understand each other, but as if the first century church was established, there was union between Jewish people and Gentile people. Daegu church became a beautiful church in the gospel, in the new life. If the life is one, word is one, destiny is one, and any kind of temperaments can be united together and harmonized in a beautiful way. Subtitle number 2, the church is Lord's farm and body. The life in Daegu Campus Crusade life was somewhat simple comparatively. I took a Central Line train on Saturday night. I arrived at Cheongsam City at 2 a.m. I spent a whole Sunday with my son Hwapyeong, 4 years old then, who is very lonely because he could not meet his father whole week. I took a train on Monday, 12 o'clock train down to Daegu. Next morning, I go to Gyeongbu University campus and start morning prayer meeting, spend a whole day in college campus and have evening fellowship at Campus Crusade Hall. It was a simple and the same schedule every day. But if I go to morning prayer meeting, brothers participate without missing even one. The rewarding days were started. I was so happy to meet students in the woods or in the benches of college campuses. If I go to Hyoseong Women's University, there were students Myung-suk Chae, Jae-suk Lee, Young-hae Ryu, Jung-ran Jung, Kim-suk Bae, and some other gathered and had fellowship on the lawn. It was so refreshing and joyous. And if I go to Dongsan Nursing College, Sister Yu Mi, Sang-ok Lee, who passed away, Dak-sun Seo, Dong-shin Lee in the United Kingdom, Ashik Kim, Myung-suk Lee, and some other students always participated. Some other sisters followed them, Kyu-sun Hwang, Myung-suk Jung, Kim-hee Park, Hang-nan Kim, and still remaining in the church up to now. And at Daegu Nursing College, there are Kwi-ok Kim, Hye-ran Na, Hye-jung Kang, who is in U.S. now, are remaining. Jason Lee was having a fellowship at the Yeongnam University with Chang-yong Lee, Woo Kyung-no, and Ha-young Kwon, who passed away. Sung-shik Kim brought them Kim-in Park to church a little later. Jongchun Park and Young-suk Kim came from Kaeming University. Meeting students every day was so simple but joyous. I was reading Watchman books by my eyes were opened up toward the new world, and my ears were opened up toward the new word of God, and my progress was getting faster. His words were so abstruse and living vividly. I fell into his words and became soaking wet. His words conquered me and made the word became flesh. The words of life becomes incarnated. Doctrines just float in people's thoughts, but the word of life become incarnated right away. Thank you. Hallelujah. May God bless every one of you. Thank you again. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.